Hi everyone, this is Adam Chatterton with GSX Solutions. I also have Olivier Reynaud here with me at our Boston office. I wanted to go ahead and thank everyone first off for joining the webinar today. We're very excited to be doing this webinar together with our partner Atidan. We've been working with Atidan for about a year now, and David Rosenthal is also on the call with us today from Atidan. He's the president and CEO. David, I don't know if you want to hop in and say a couple quick words.
Sure, Adam. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone that's joined us. We're also excited to partner with GSX. Looking forward to a great presentation today, Adam. I'll let you continue.
All right, thank you. So as I mentioned, I have Olivier Reynaud with me here today. He's our Microsoft specialist and pre-sales manager at GSX. And myself, I'm the channel manager here at GSX for the Americas. I manage our partnerships across the U.S., in Canada, and in Central and South America. With that being said, I'll speak very quickly about GSX and where we come from, what do we do. So a quick introduction here is we've been in business for over 17 years now. We have our headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. We also have 2 offices in the USA. We're here in Boston, Massachusetts. We also have an office in Buffalo, New York. And then we have offices across the globe in the UK, France, Switzerland, and in China. And we've had long-standing partnerships with Microsoft, IBM, and BlackBerry. To speak briefly about some of the awards that we've received over the years, I'd like to mention the Best at TechEd Award that we were finalists for in 2012 and in 2013, 1 year for our SharePoint product and the next year for our Exchange product. We also won the Gold Award for msexchange.org. Quickly about our customers as well, we provide monitoring and reporting for companies like HSBC, Boeing, Johnson Controls, to mention some of the larger customers that we have. It's definitely not limited to just large companies. The size of the company we work with definitely doesn't matter. It's more about how critical the messaging or SharePoint environment is where GSX fits in. So to go ahead and start with some of the content that we have here, we hear a lot of different challenges from our customers that are monitoring SharePoint. Often SharePoint is deployed in an environment and it's not treated as a critical platform early on. From there, it can evolve very quickly and really quickly become a nightmare for administrators if you don't take control of that environment from the beginning. Mainly because it's user-controlled, it's user-driven. There can be a quick growth as soon as it is adapted and used by your users at that point. It's important to measure and continuously monitor the end user experience. If your users are anything like me, I have no patience for slow page load times or slow document uploads. So it's important to be notified about these latency issues before your users complain and stop using SharePoint. So user adoption is definitely a main concern when it comes to SharePoint, especially early on, obviously. It can evolve very quickly, like I mentioned. Without any notice, your SharePoint environment could blow up overnight if it is adopting quickly, but you need visibility and you need to definitely have the capability to ensure that the end user experience is working correctly. Again, to the point of what I had before, if you have issues with page load times, document uploads, creating meetings, certainly it's going to be a more difficult path for your users to just start using SharePoint. As far as running out of resources, certainly, again, if it's a fast evolving environment, without any notice, you could all of a sudden run out of resources. It can be very difficult to be able to scale and plan for the correct resources and capacity if you don't have any visibility on that. One complaint that we hear a lot is you can't target the source of the user complaints that you hear. So your help desk may get flooded at one point or another, and all of a sudden you need to take action to figure out where the issues are coming from. One of the things that you definitely could do to alleviate this is to proactively monitor the environment. It's going to allow you to quickly identify the root cause of any issues before you run into that issue where your help desk is swamped or you're overwhelmed with end user complaints saying that SharePoint isn't working correctly. Next, we have, I don't know if all my SharePoint sites are up and running efficiently. So a SharePoint farm could have hundreds of sites, and monitoring at the site level could be extremely challenging without having the proper tool to be able to have that insight. Certainly, that's one thing that GSX can help you out with, and Olivier during the demo will be able to show you more about that. And then lastly, we have here, how do I build reports on performance and usage? So as SharePoint evolves, it's definitely more and more critical in an environment. You see that reporting on performance and usage and capacity planning becomes a very important thing, especially if your management is requiring that. If you don't have a tool to quickly build the reports and actually track the data over time, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to create these reports in a timely manner, number one. And of course, if you don't have the data, it can be an impossible task for you to actually do that from there. So to speak a bit more about GSX, we're obviously focusing on SharePoint here today, but GSX does monitor more than just SharePoint. We have the ability to monitor IBM Notes, IBM Traveler, IBM Same Time Quicker, and we also monitor BlackBerry Enterprise Server. Of course, we have a fantastic Microsoft Exchange monitoring tool as well, which can monitor any version of Exchange. So that also includes on-premise, hybrid, and Exchange Online environments. The tool itself is a completely agentless tool, and Olivier will certainly go a bit more in depth on what you see here. But we're performing end-to-end tests focused on the end-user performance with the environment. The idea being that we do more than just the standard server up, server down type monitoring that's very reactive, but we proactively test the environment with real user scenarios so that you can identify issues before your end users are impacted and before your help desk is flooded with complaints. For SharePoint, we monitor at the site, server, farm, and SQL level. It allows you to dig deep into SharePoint at all levels, and we provide you with a complete tool to be able to manage the whole environment. The technology that we're using behind the scenes to test SharePoint consists mainly of PowerShell and synthetic transactions user scenarios that Olivier is going to show you as well. And of course, the last thing to mention here is that we integrate with third-party tools like System Center or other network monitoring tools by feeding our alerts in there so you can centralize that in one dashboard. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Olivier now, which will show you a quick demo of GSX.
Thanks for that, Adam. So now you've seen what we could do. I'm gonna actually show you where that is. So our product is split in two. You have the monitoring station and the reporting station. So here is the monitoring application. So again, this is completely agentless. You have nothing to install on any of the SharePoint server, neither the SQL backend. Everything is done remotely. So here you can see the different farms. We discover the farm automatically. All you need to put is just access to one server, and using remote PowerShell, we'll be able to discover the different web front ends, application server, and all the different SQL servers that are used. Each server that would host some content databases. Then you have some few configuration things to access that. So for the web front ends, we're going to actually use web services. So these web services will be the same thing as what users are using when they access to sites. So it's possible to use the alerts that are available in SharePoint to copy some documents, access some specific web parts, trigger some workflows, and not only be alerted if it's not available, but you can also be alerted if this actions exceeds a certain threshold, so that you can know when the performance is degrading in your environment. So for the application role, we'll look at the different application services. On the SQL backends, we'll make sure all the data, all the different SharePoint content databases are available. And we also monitor like the search service. So we make sure that all the SharePoint content is actually crawled. So you can have some alerts if it hasn't been crawled for the past 4 days or so, or if there has, there had been like more than 10% of errors in the overall elements that were crawled for the search to be performing well. And you can also be alerted at the site collection or content DB level for tracking the number of sites, the size of sites, or the number of documents. We also perform some log scanning, so if you need to, if you have some recurrent issues that you want to monitor closely, you can actually look for specific keywords in all of the logs of SharePoint. Then we do some disk space monitoring. You can set up some maintenance when you have to perform some reboots on the server or updates. And so these different things that give us some statistics, like real-time statistics on your different servers. So that's section, sorry. So for SharePoint, so this is going to be like a web front end. You can see the different web services that have been tested on it. For the application role, you can look at the different application services that have been monitored, and this is fully customizable. And then for the SQL role, you can see at the form level all the data that you have. So you can see the different content databases, some information about sites, documents, and size. And for each content DB, you can look at the different sites that are part of the content databases. And so then not only we do these different monitoring at the server and the form level, but it's also possible to perform some scenarios. And these are really a powerful feature that we provide you with. You can actually have some end-user scenarios exactly the way that they do when they access a SharePoint site. And you can target specific web front ends or perform that at the form level. And so these actions are like adding a blog post, uploading a document, and same thing again here. Not only you can be alerted if it's not working, but if it takes like 30 seconds to upload a 500K document, you want to know about that. It's not really, the service is not really there for your end users. And I'm sure Adam in this case will stop using SharePoint, right? Exactly. So then you can also perform, so you can see the evolution of these different actions. You can also use the search service, access Excel files. We also provide you with scanning at the SharePoint site level for performance, so just the time it takes to complete the loading of the different pages. So this is a preview of the monitoring part, and all this data is sent every night to our reporting tool. So the reporting tool is web-based, so you can configure different profiles so that different teams can access different servers or different SharePoint farms. Here's a dashboard giving you an overview of your different statistics. So you can customize this and have relevant statistics for you. All the different alerts that were sent out from Monitor, you can actually see them here. So you can go back in time and look for specific days, or some help desk teams uses that as well, because you can have some workflow on that. Then you have some raw statistics about your different servers. So these are divided into the different roles. So for the web front end, application, SQL statistics. The log scanning I told you about, here you can see all the different reports of this log scanning. So you can see actually what was looked for here. So you can also put some regular expression if you need to englobe different keywords. And the best part of Analyzer, I think, is really the strong reports. Because here, so it's really easy. You can configure. We have some templates actually. This is a template on SharePoint Content DB availability. So you can see that the evolution of the statistics. This is for like a weekly report or about 15 days. And you want to look at the statistics, just drag and drop. If you want to compare some statistics, just drag and drop both of them, and you can actually see the historical part of the data and also the forecasting, so that you know what the trending is going to be for the next couple of weeks. And these reports, you can look at them from here. You can export them as PDF, or if you don't want to be looking at this web application, you can just receive them by email or upload it on some folder or FTP sites on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Then the last but not least view is that environmental health reports. So here you really see an overview of all your different SharePoint servers, and you can keep track of your SLA or on some KPIs. So here, obviously, everything's red. It's a pretty bad situation, and the admins here would not be still running the farm, I guess. But just to give you an overview, you can see the different servers, and you can see the ones that are not performing as well. So you can identify some bottlenecks or see if some servers are not performing well enough within your entire organization. And this is also available at the farm level for different servers, or for the different scenarios you've been performing, or at the content DB level as well. So I hope that you have a good overview of our two products, and you've seen in action what Adam told you. So how these different features that we provide you with answers this IT challenge? Well, with our agentless solution, you're able to monitor at different levels. So not only at the server level, but also aggregating that at the farm level or going down at the site level, and also at the site level for different web products. So it's important to have this proactive analysis of what is the performance of your SharePoint service that you are delivering to your end users. And you can also do that from multiple locations. If you have users that are traveling, or you have different sites in different countries, you can monitor from these different locations so that you actually know the end user experience. And it's important to monitor and collect the data in order to be alerted or do some reporting about all the different resources and their evolution. So for example, the growth of the different SQL content databases, also about the different performance metrics like CPU, RAM, disk space, and you can have this automated and receive them in your mailbox every week. So for the user complaints, you want to be able to see where is the issue. So seeing if it's maybe at the farm level, the load balancer is having issues, or some specific servers, specific maybe application services, you can really drill down to where is actually the issue coming from. So for the different sites, you've seen that we monitor the sites from different perspectives, the load page time, the scenarios, and you can perform this on all your different sites. So you can really know if there's some specific sites that are not performing as well as the others. And finally, you've seen how the reporting was really easy. Like in a couple of minutes, if you need to provide management with some reports, or for yourself, you want to do some capacity planning, in 2-3 minutes, you have some reports configured on a weekly basis and sent out to your emails. So Adam, could you wrap up all this on GSX Monitor and Analyzer? So,
okay, thanks Olivier for the great demo. One thing to mention real quick, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat box and send them to Alice. You'll see that GSX Marketing actually, she's the one that will collect all the questions and will answer those for you guys at the end. To wrap things up, also here we wanted to mention a bit more about our partner Atidan. They're a premier GSX partner, and we work closely with them on several projects. Atidan's a full-service SharePoint consulting company. They can help you basically across the board from end to end on SharePoint, whether that be deployments, migrations, troubleshooting, recommendations, and of course, they are a GSX Monitor and Analyzer expert. They're here to help with all facets of GSX, whether that's from the installation in the beginning to configuring it, fine-tuning it, and providing training. Certainly they're here to help with that as well.
Okay, thank you. So sorry, my name is Alice. I'm just popping in. I had a couple of technical issues, but it's all good now. So I would like to thank Olivier and Adam for this presentation. So now I'm going to ask Dave to present this next slide, as he is part of Atidan. So Dave, maybe?
Absolutely. Thank you. So we have a free trial available, a full functioning 30-day trial for up to 10 servers, which is probably more than enough, unlimited users, and extensive demonstration and other assistance if you need help installing from the Atidan team. Just send us an email, gsx@atidan.com. We'll be happy to get you set up right away. I'm very excited to partner with GSX on that. I believe we're going to go into a Q&A session. Is that correct for anybody who has questions? Because we wanted this also to be interactive and able to dive into any of the screens that we flashed by pretty quickly.
Yes, exactly. So thank you, Dave, for this. So now it's time for our Q&A session. So we have received quite a few. So let's start with the. So for SharePoint scenarios, is the testing superficial or does it perform actual user transactions? Olivier, maybe you could help us out on this question.
Yeah, sure. I'll answer that. I went briefly on that, but so these different scenarios, we use web services. So it's actually triggering some actions like when you go on a SharePoint site. So when I upload a document, it's not just pinging something. It's actually taking a document locally and uploading to a SharePoint site, making sure this document is there and available, and then we delete it because we don't want to leave any track of what we've been doing. So you can see it's actually a full flow. And this also needs that the SharePoint site is available, that you can authenticate. So it's a pretty complex workflow. It's not just like pinging a service or retrieving one statistics. It's actually using the SharePoint service as an end user.
Okay, thank you for this. Then we have another question, which is what kind of logs do you monitor for SharePoint?
So at the moment we monitor they're called the diagnostic logs. They're on all the web front ends and application servers, and so you might have to turn they're enabled by default on SharePoint, but you might want to add more verbos if you need in them. And so basically, this is where everything happens. Any issue you can see in those logs.
Fine, thank you. Then we have another question. Is there a possibility to receive an alert from web services response time?
Yes, of course. For the different scenarios, or also at the server level of the different web services that are configured, you can put independent thresholds. So, for example, if the web part service I'm using is taking more than 3 seconds, I can be alerted. But if copying a document takes more than 10 seconds, I can be alerted. So really, you can have different thresholds and can be alerted on these different items.
Great. So then the next question. When you check the web services, is there any impact on the server?
There's not really, because what we do here again is really using the system as an end user. So although these are powerful tests, we perform the test only every minute, every 5 minutes. So it depends on the frequency you perform the test with. But in the end, it's just like adding a user accessing your SharePoint service. So it's not that big of an impact. Not at all.
Okay. Then here is our last question. Is it possible to monitor different servers at different locations?
Absolutely. You can deploy as many monitoring stations as you need. So typically, in different, if you have different sites, if the company is split up in different sites, or you have different customers and you want to monitor from each of their perspective, you can do that. And all these monitoring stations, they can report to the same reporting web-based application that I've showed you in the quick demo in the second one. So it's really, really possible, and we recommend to do that. So you actually have the user experience from the different locations they're at.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Olivier. So now this webinar is coming to an end, so just in case you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us on the email that you have seen previously. I'd like to thank again David from Atidan, who gave us the opportunity to share this partnership and to focus on each other's strengths and knowledge to present this webinar. I'd also like to thank everyone for attending this webinar. You will see there's an evaluation that's about to show up on your browser. Please take a moment to provide us with your feedback. I thank you again, and I hope to see you soon.